another episode of the Intrepid English Podcast. Today we are going to look at how to use reflexive pronouns. We use reflexive pronouns when the subject both does and receives the action. We can also use them to emphasize that the subject did the action alone or without help. For example, she cooked dinner for herself. Hello, nice to meet you. Let me introduce myself. My name is Paul. The food is ready. Please help yourselves. Don't forget to download your free reflexive pronouns cheat sheet on the Intrepid English blog. Also, Kate R. recently covered this topic in her Friday Ask Us Anything live on YouTube, and you can watch the video on YouTube or on the Intrepid English blog. Kate goes live every Friday to answer your English language questions. So if you have a question that you would like Kate to answer in her next live event, just let us know. The reflexive pronouns are as follows: myself, yourself, himself, herself, itself, themselves, ourselves, yourselves. Some important points to remember. We use the preposition by to indicate that the person did the action alone or without help. For example, he fixed the car by himself, alone and without help from a mechanic. She did her homework by herself, alone without help from a parent or teacher, etc. Unlike many other languages, we do not use a reflexive pronoun in English with verbs that describe things that people usually do themselves, such as wash, shave, or dress. For example, we would say, George shaves every morning, not George shaves himself every morning. Or, I showered before going out to dinner, not I showered myself. We can also use reflexive pronouns for emphasis. We add emphasis to the subject that we are referring to. Here are some examples. I couldn't believe it. The band covered a Fleetwood Mac song and they brought on Stevie Nicks herself as a special guest. Rafa Nadal himself was visiting the academy and awarded the winner of the tournament with the trophy. Themselves versus each other. We use the phrase each other to talk about two subjects who both do the same action to the other, rather than to themselves. You can check the difference between these sentences. John and Kim looked at themselves in the mirror. John looked at John, and Kim looked at Kim. John and Kim looked at each other in the mirror. In this case, John looked at Kim, and Kim looked at John. Another example. At the end of the party, the guests said goodbye and hugged themselves. In this example, each guest would give themselves a hug. At the end of the party, the guests said goodbye and hugged each other. In this example, each guest hugged the other guests. Well, I hope you enjoyed this bite-sized podcast episode on reflexive pronouns. Remember that you can download your free reflexive pronouns cheat sheet on the blog, and there's a practice activity there for you to complete. This content was written and recorded by me, Intrepid English teacher Kate B. You can find out more about me on my Intrepid English teacher profile page, and you can also book a free trial lesson today to discuss this topic in more detail and to talk about your English learning goals with an experienced and friendly Intrepid English teacher. If you have any questions or you'd like to request a topic for a future blog or podcast, or if you have a question for Kate R for her Friday Live, then contact us using the chat box on our website, send us an email, or drop us a message on any of our social media channels.